Hey. Welcome back to the Real Kings podcast. Once again, our usual moderator is not here. He's off doing like children's AAU. I don't know if it's basketball still, if it's football, it's soccer, but luckily Dane Hawk is in the house. My man Loff is in the house. And of course, Jim Gordon, your commissioner and investigative officer, is here to go over some of the things that's going on. Love, I gotta start because we always start with pop culture, man. What's going on with these Knicks, man?
Hey, man, they doing what they supposed to do, man. Doing what need to be done. You know, it's been long enough. So it's looking good, man. I just think I have so much trauma. It's like I'm still in disbelief, waiting for the shoe to drop. But I will say a lot of things this year just felt different, and the media, for the most part, has doubted the Knicks every step of the way. But as a fan, I could be skeptical too because of the Knicks.
Right.
But everything has just felt like, nah, they won the NBA Cup. Like, that's valid.
Mm-hmm.
But the media is like, yeah, it don't mean nothing. You know what? The Atlanta Hawks, they probably the biggest sleeper in the playoffs. They're probably going to beat the Knicks. Nah, they didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah, if they ain't got enough for the Cavs, no, sweep them. It's like it just keep being doubts, but they keep proving that no, this team is different.
As a New York native, do you think the city survives? Because they already wild.
They already started burning that joint down.
If it ain't a Batman, somebody need to step up because it's about to be.
We can't have it where Peter is off, not paying attention to the rest of New York City. Like, we need the Avengers to be on.
Well, Spider-Man is one of them. He's one of the worst fans.
He gone.
You don't know the dude that do Spider-Man? He had all the big games. Yeah. With the Timbs on.
you know, I didn't know how the Knicks would deal with Wemby. Because we've never seen this from Cat before.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was the one thing I was shaky about. But I will say I did have an argument or a debate with a dude that I hoop with. He was like, Wemby already the best player in the league. Hands down, as soon as he won the defensive player of the year. And I was like, man, he not the best yet. We know he going there. He on his way. Right. But he not the best yet. Now that dude don't say nothing to me. This past week.
I was actually confident the Knicks would deal with Wemby because of Mitchell Robinson, but I was dead wrong. They're not using him. They're using Cat. Cat's doing well. But I said the same thing. People just keep preaching to me about how Wemby is this unstoppable force that you can't do nothing with an alien. And I don't see him that way yet. It's not to take away from who he is or who he's going to be. It's just that I see him. I mean, maybe it's just like my basketball experience.
It's some flaws that you can notice if you pay enough attention.
And it's experience. Like, it's mistakes that he's making, things that 3 years from now, he's probably not going to do. But right now, this is all.
He loses cool when he get too emotional.
He does.
Yeah, he's been doing that a lot.
And he does not know how to control the ball and protect the ball in the post.
Yeah. He doesn't. My biggest flaw.
He has no
right
post
now,
footwork.
He has no go-to move.
Yeah.
Even if you look at someone like Brunson, he's gonna do a lot of different footwork, but he goes to his bag.
Go-to move. Yeah.
He has a bag he gonna go to, and Wemby don't have that yet.
Yeah.
I remember Kobe talked about you have to have
a counter for that
counter, and then another counter, and then a counter. So it's like if Kobe had to have 3 counters,
he different.
Like,
but that's why
you need to have one at least.
And I hope he gets back to it. They said he was working with like Akeem and stuff, and Akeem kind of had those post pivot moves, counter for the counter for the counter.
Yep.
So, and I feel like that'll work well for Wemby's game because he ain't necessarily, bigging it up like Shaq in the post and stuff, but on the perimeter, he's pretty slick. You know what I mean? And if he can look at the rim and he gets the jump on you, it's hard to contest his shot.
I was going to say, when you're 7'5",
right,
you're the tallest person in the league, you can shoot over everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, man, and I know we'll probably talk about it as we move forward with the show, but we touched on it a little bit when we discussed Obsession, but I am in awe, and it seems like mainstream media and Hollywood are picking up now between Kane Parsons with the Backrooms last week and then everything that happened with Obsession, these YouTube artists are like kind of taking Hollywood by storm and outdoing big budget movies like The Mandalorian and potentially He-Man that we're going to talk about later in the show. What do you guys think about this? And do you think it could be done outside of horror? Because horror has always been like that niche kind of thing where budget doesn't always influence it. If you can max it out with creativity, sometimes that grainy, gritty kind of look for a horror movie that's shot on an indie level can work out. Like for some action movies and stuff, it don't work if you're doing a car chase and you got little puppets.
I think the answer is yes and no.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not yes and no, but I think it's categorically yes that it can be done outside of horror, but I don't think it's for every genre. If you just do the same formula for every genre, I don't think it will work.
Right.
I think horror is unique. That one is pretty universal. Men and women, kids, teenagers, all go see horror. I don't think women really get excited. I think there's a large portion of women who don't get excited about action, and don't matter how good it is, they don't care about it. I also think the same for romance. So it's like some men just not going to go see it if they single. They don't care about it. But I do think when you talk about sci-fi, I think there are some niche genres that are catch-alls for everybody that if you sell it right. But again, this ain't new. Get Out did it too, and it was the same conversation then. It was, how is this little indie horror film killing all these movies on this budget?
I mean, you get to see a good range of emotions in horror too. Like it's not just the suspense, the mystery, but you can act like wide range of stuff. And this even goes back to Blair Witch and everything else where that was breaking box offices and it was horror. And the reason I bring it up is because we're all movie fans and we tend to like different genres. And I want to see the movie industry thrive. I hope that there's opportunity for different genres, drama, romance, whatever, to where everything doesn't have to be a $25 trillion blockbuster to be successful.
So let me, from the perspective of someone who is not a big horror fan, I will say that this path to making successful movies, like going from the YouTube low budget to doing the same thing on the big screen, is probably more akin to, or more successful, or will be more successful in horror or suspense.
Right.
Because a lot of those genres in particular, you can set a tone that will make it feel like a good horror movie or a good suspense movie. The music, the way that you film, like the slow camera pans and stuff like that.
That don't cost a lot.
That costs nothing. Whereas like a good action movie, a good sci-fi movie, you need a budget. You need good choreography. You need good effects and all of that stuff. And you can't really do that with that cheap YouTube budget per se. Comedy stuff may be good. And the first thing that comes to mind for me in that realm is romantic comedy. Probably would work if it's comedic enough for the men to be interested and but still have the romantic element for women. And that makes me think of Issa Rae.
Yeah.
Because she had her show on YouTube forever, The Awkward Black Girl, which then flipped to the HBO joint, which wasn't a movie, but still a bigger budget.
When rom-coms do it, I think it doesn't get the like fanfare or the articles or the media surprise, because I think they look at that as, one, very hard to replicate. And two, I think they look at it as like a product of maybe the actors or the funny comedian who delivered. I remember
that's the talent. Yeah.
That's the talent, right?
Yeah.
I think with horror, a lot of times they really are like, I can't believe this happened. What? Like how? And it's just like this anomaly in their mind.
Yeah.
So again, I do think sci-fi could do it. I think crime movies can do it. I think Usual Suspects was similar.
You could, but
that was all suspense. It was great actors, but Benicio wasn't him then.
He wasn't.
That was the director giving this character this sort of like unique angle, and then just the story and the word of mouth, and like, so I do think it's possible.
They had some heavy hitters in that joint though, not just Benicio. They had Sean Penn.
I think I don't think Hollywood can ever get out its own way, right? Like to me, this is like, you should study this and really try to see what is making this work and why. But we watched the studio, and I truly think it's some old dudes in the front office, old men and women who just are like, no, I want a big budget movie with Nicolas Cage in it, and I want a big spider, as the villain and just prescribing things as opposed to looking for success.
Right.
And they just throw money in the trash. Like, I think they just used to it on a power trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. This Backrooms joint got so much. Oh, my bad, James.
No, go ahead.
This Backroom joint got so much buzz. I almost went to the movies to go see it. And you know, I don't be doing horror.
Horror, but you could put this in a sci-fi kind of thing too. You know what I mean? And then we don't even talk about, but it was a success. The kid that did Iron Lung, Mark Pillier or whatever. But I, for you guys, just wonder if Hollywood is doing this and actually looking at it, because a lot of young people are going out and these guys come in with their already established fan bases, and then they're transcending and going and watching the movies. Like, we talking about comedy and drama and everything else. I wonder if Hollywood's going to start working with our streamers, YouTube personalities. I feel like that's how we get the youth back.
I think it's almost
see them people that they want to see on the big screen.
I think that's almost a guarantee at this point. You got 2 back-to-back movies that came from that world of them finding successful people on YouTube. They about to start, like, you know, pillaging the fields.
And I don't know if they
I think they're a little late with the streamer thing.
They are.
I would have been thinking about making a streamer biopic. Not a biopic, I'm sorry. But a, you know, fabricated streamer movie of came from nothing to become the biggest streamer. I think not only would that attract kids and teenagers and stuff, but I just think about how those movies just tend to do well if they're done well.
Right.
And I think about all the up and coming like movies that we, you know, what do you call it? Coming of age movies that we grew up with. Karate Kid, and you used to be bullied and you grew up to be the best. And like, these kids care about streaming.
Right.
And why not show something that resonates for them and have them come out in droves and make $50 million on $2 million budget.
And I think you get those personalities on there. Like, I'm surprised, and maybe it's in the works. I feel like I saw some stuff with Kevin Hart and everything else, but I'm just surprised that Drewski and like Astronaut and some of these guys.
See, and then just let them be cameos. Then they're gonna promote the movie for you.
Right.
They'll be like, I'm in this new film, free marketing. Like,
but and Drewski do enough, and he do enough characters and stuff where I'm surprised, and maybe the money, like,
Drewski gonna have a comedy film soon.
That's what I'm saying, and he could just have his own little comedy joint, and I think that he's got enough fan base that they're gonna at least give it a shot, and then if it's good, it's gonna do well. But you know, I mean, I guess that's why Hollywood gets paid the big bucks.
The one thing I'll say lastly about this is horror tends to give you an experience that that people will willingly pay for.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know how many other genres, and maybe sometimes women do need a good cry, but I can't think of too many other genres where I'm going to pay $15, $20 to get what I went in there for. Like, I think horror makes you feel like getting that little boost of adrenaline for $20. I'm gonna get it.
You said maybe women need a little cry. Let them come out with another Notebook. Every dude will be in line to buy his wife and girl a ticket, not by choice, by force.
The thing that they probably have to do is kind of, The Housemaid that just came out. Like, again, that did well because it had a following. Like, a lot of women read the books and care about the characters, and it was the same thing with The Notebook.
I missed that one, The Housemaid.
Yeah, it starred Sydney Sweeney, but it actually was one of the few hits that she's had as a marquee actress.
So you just a straight up Sydney Sweeney fan, James. You just follow everything she do.
No.
Y'all put her in a group and I didn't know who she was, and y'all thought I was crazy.
And I'm speaking because my wife read the books too. So, like, a lot of people went to see it.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
It didn't cost a lot of money to make, and it was a hit, and they're making a sequel, and, like, you know, all these women and stuff are talking about it. Like, that's the stuff that I think Hollywood, and maybe it's difficult being there to, like, tap into these little sub genres and cultures and decide what you want to invest your money in. But there's so many of these little pockets that I think that if you get these audiences, they'll come to support, you know, the people that they support.
Sydney Sweeney ain't pop up in the Dr. Umar group chat? She ain't pop up?
You invited me to the Dr. Umar group chat. You trying to stay secret. You trying to keep it secretive.
Oh, man. I don't even know a good segue from Dr. Umar.
Hey, He-Man's power came from a brother.
True.
It did.
Great skull.
Real quick, before we get to He-Man, though, Spider Noir. What are y'all thoughts on it? And let me ask, did y'all watch black and white or did you do color?
It's funny because I actually did black and white first. I thought that was, just sort of different than what most offerings are right now. So I was like, let me just try that. Then I kind of paused it in the middle of the first episode. And so it asks you again when you restart. I was like, oh, let me see what the color looks like. So I actually did both.
Yeah.
I did just the opposite.
Oh, okay.
I started by joining color and then paused it to like go to the bathroom or get something for the kids or something, and came back and it had timed out. So it asked me again. And I was like, man, this show is a Spider Noir. Let me watch it in black and white. And I flipped it over.
Yeah, and I did both too. And it's kind of cool because you get to see like the different contrasts. And like, we talk about like little things that are going to draw the audience in. I thought it was kind of a fun gimmick. And they both have their pros and cons. Like if you like a noir kind of, 30s, 50s kind of crime detective, that black and white works. But then when you get to the superhero side, the color pops like Wizard of Oz, like Technicolor.
Yeah, that is how I felt. I was going to say the same thing. It did feel like Technicolor to me.
Yeah.
But the other thing that was interesting was me realizing how much color plays a part in how you digest information.
It does, yeah.
Like watching it in black and white, I was way more fixated on like just what's happening.
Right.
But when I watched it in color, I actually like noticed myself paying attention to the background and the walls and everything else. That's because it's like a lot of color in the way they shot it.
So when I switched it over to black and white, I noticed that his costume looked better and the eyes stood out more.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess my frame of focus was more Spider whenever he was on the screen.
Yeah.
Rather than looking around at other stuff. So it's probably
he definitely looked better.
Yeah.
But some of the villains, I think, looked better in color. So like when you got to see the Fire, or you got to see Sandman or Tombstone, or not Electro, Megawatt.
I kept thinking he was Electro.
I know, right?
Until you wrote Megawatt in the notes. I was like, oh, that's who that was?
And he's a very obscure Spider-Man character. I don't think Megawatt pops up a lot. Like, so I think that I don't know if it was something weird with Electro. A lot of this had to do like calling him the Spider. They ain't get to call him Spider-Man.
Right.
He was Ben Reilly, couldn't be Peter Parker.
Right.
Even though they alluded that he changed his name and all this little weird stuff. But a lot of that is that weird Marvel Sony partnership contract where they have to dance around it.
Sony ain't tell Prime they can make no Spider movie.
I my first impressions was like, it isn't too bad, right? I think for me, my issue is more probably personal. I'm just not interested in that sort of rendition of Spider-Man. I will say, I think another lead actor other than Nicolas Cage, which is a huge disconnect for me, may have pulled and drawn me in more to checking this out. But I think it just is not a good marriage to me to associate him with Spider-Man at all. And then it's just sort of storytelling. So watching it for what it is, I'm just not a big fan of like the noir crime.
Right. I mean, nobody is, but James. That's because he was a young man during that era.
I think there's probably, this might not be accurate, but there's probably 2 movies I love from that era. Devil in a Blue Dress. And I wouldn't say I love it, but I've really liked LA Confidential when I watched it.
Yeah, LA Confidential was a good one.
Yeah.
Devil in a Blue Dress, that was a good one too. But, and that's my issue with the genre, is typically you don't see a lot of us in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Devil in a Blue Dress, it was cool to see a noir perspective detective from that era that was the brother. You know what I mean? Especially when it's Denzel.
Right.
Chinatown, like you can't deny Chinatown. Man, anything with Nicholson, but.
What's the what was the gangster versus cop one back in the day? It was in black and white.
Untouchables?
Untouchables. Yeah. I remember that one as a kid.
Yeah, I loved Untouchables. Even with Kevin Costner. That's a classic to me. Like I love that joint too.
Right. And,
but that felt more like it was just more like about Al Capone. So it didn't feel like noir-y where there's this hot harlot and she's singing and like it didn't have all that.
It didn't have all the elements.
The cops versus the gangsters.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's one thing that Spider.
And the other joint I was going to say was Dick Tracy, but that's sort of similar as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of this reminded me of Dick Tracy.
That's true. The Art Deco,
campy and like art and like. but we didn't see, and maybe it was a budget, maybe it was a violence thing, but usually in this era, there's at least one scene where somebody break out the Tommy gun.
Right.
Right.
Every time.
Like, they didn't really do that in this. It was mainly people with powers. How do y'all, like Loft brought up a good point. Nicolas Cage is an acquired taste. And in this joint, if you like Nicolas Cage, then you got what you wanted, because there were moments where he got full weird Nicolas Cage. He was doing this, yeah. You know, it's like,
why do you have so many actor impressions? Like you are so you never like talk that way in regular conversation. It's, you know what tripped me out about Nicolas Cage in this joint? In the Spider-Verse joint, it's Nicolas Cage doing that voice,
right?
And it felt totally different than him in Spider-Verse. It did not feel like the same actor,
right?
So it's like, why is he playing this? Why is he overacting this role so much versus how he acted in the animated joint?
Nicolas Cage should do all the movies, not all, but the majority of the goofy characters that Brad Pitt chooses to play, Nicolas Cage should play.
Yeah. But
and Brad Pitt, obviously, you know, he just don't want to be an action superstar for the most part. It's like he's reluctantly in those roles. But.
Right.
I thought this was fun, man. Like, overall, it wasn't like something that blew my socks off, but again, something that's streaming. It fell into the high level WB shows that I liked. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like earth-shattering. You know what I mean? Where it was like, oh man, this is a revolution.
So, just like every other Marvel show. Like, if this was on Disney Plus, it would feel right at home to me.
It would.
Just if you compare this to the other Marvel Disney Plus shows, this jump would probably be in the bottom half, though.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't think the ceiling is that high for Marvel shows.
Okay.
So if it's in the bottom half, it's not far from the top.
I will say I was impressed with how they worked the budget. You know what I mean? Like, even with the people with the powers, they used like the noir, where it was like Sandman wasn't fully engulfed with sand all the time.
He wasn't like Terminator T-1000. He was just like,
It's like they used prosthetics and stuff like that. And even with Nick Cage and like some of the action, they did a good job with the budget they had, where it didn't seem like, oh, this is like super cheap, but it also didn't feel like it was like, you know, Captain America, what was it, and Falcon, where it was like, they spent a lot of money, but it's trash. So it kind of fell in the middle. That's why I compared it to the high level.
What if
Captain America and the Winter Soldier? You mean? Okay.
I think it would have been a little bit similar in terms of just being a little lackluster, but I do think having a Batman like this would have been dope. Mm-hmm. The same way, you know, the animated series was sort of thrown back into this era, and then Art Deco. If you had put Batman in this and he just fighting people like that Sandman, Tombstone type of character every episode, that would have been good.
Speaking of, did y'all see the Cape Crusader, that Amazon joint is coming back?
Yeah.
Oh, they got a season 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I was surprised they got picked up again.
Amazon printing money, man. Amazon just be making stuff. You know?
Yeah, and they probably already were underway thinking it was going to be a bigger hit, and then they just like, all right, we'll finish this and put it out. What y'all think? And I just, you know, I don't want to go too in depth in the Spider Noir. I just kind of wanted to get y'all feelings on it. Dane, did you finish it?
Yeah, I finished it.
What'd you think? What'd you give it like as far as a rating?
I mean, 6.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was, 6.5. Like, I didn't hate watching it. There were some slow points. One thing, what's the girl's name that played Grace on Sinners? Like, I feel like if she's in a role, you can't trust her. She could mess up the crew or throw everything off, man.
Man, when I first saw her, I was like, she looks so familiar. Where I know her from? And then I said, that's not Brenda Strong. And then I was like, I couldn't put my finger on it, and then I finally did.
Yeah. But she's a good actress, man.
So it was there was nothing to the plot.
No.
Like it wasn't nothing serious to the plot. I think Lamorne, they let him shine a little more than I expected. Like
I appreciate it.
They tried to let him they tried to let him flex a little bit, try and get off some acting chops to show he can do more than just a stupid comedic stuff.
And I did like the inclusion of Robbie as a reporter in that era to kind of give like the minority perspective, and then him and Tombstone, you know, kind of related on that level where Tombstone was a returning vet, but a brother, but not, can't get ahead.
They leaned into it a little bit more than I thought they would.
I did too. I was surprised. Right?
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, but I'm right about a 6.5 for the same issues that Loft said.
I was probably a 5 until Lamar was like, "Come on, brother." that probably added another point for
I did like the end when it was all said and done. Both of them won. You know what I mean? Like Lonnie got cured and was working this part, and Robbie got his own
newspaper.
Yeah, because them white folk wasn't happy. They put his little desk up.
Yeah, he got his own newspaper after getting his ass beat.
Well, he earned it. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. Take it in blood. Oh man. Where do y'all want to move? Y'all want to do Boroughs first and then finish up with He-Man into news, or y'all just want to go straight into the main event? Because I feel like He-Man is, something we've been anticipating probably since the Dolph Lundgren joint.
Yeah, man. Let's just get into Masters of the Universe.
Okay. Yeah. Master of the Universe. I don't know if I hope everybody listening is familiar with the
they probably
franchise.
Not. This show came out of nowhere.
Yeah, based on He-Man, who was an 80s cartoon toy line that for a lot of us was like our one seed as far as superheroes and stuff goes. He's basically like Conan the Barbarian, but he gets his power from this mystical place
magical Negro.
It kind of changed, and it turns him from a mild-mannered man in Adam to He-Man, who's this.
If nobody knows what Dane is talking about, they had a sort of like a subsequent, more recent He-Man reboot cartoon.
The Tila show.
When you watch it, they go into depth about the power of Grayskull. And what they reveal is that Grayskull was the first greatest champion, and it was a brother.
Yep.
I'm talking about
with locks.
A dude look like Dave, and they revere him, and that's why it's like Grayskull is everything. He was the first.
The whole universe is like built around that brother's power.
So we thought that was dope because that's how it should be. But
then we call reference to the fact that He-Man did always get a tan when he got the power.
But yeah, man, we that's what we referencing, and so that's why we talk about Grayskull a little bit. But I've reconciled this with myself. I was a little skinny guy when I was little, so for some reason, outside of Flash, every character that I really fell in love with got super strength. And so even though it's like clear everybody loved He-Man, he was a big deal to me. And so I think that's what even motivated me based on some of the trailers and just what I could expect from this movie. I had to go see it. The Dolph Lundgren one from, what probably is the one we had the most, anticipation for.
Right.
Because that was the first live action.
Yeah.
And that was the 90s, right?
It was a straight dud. And it just did not deliver on any of the lore that was established. I mean, it just went totally away. And I think this movie does some similar liberties that I still don't know why that's the creative choice. But it kind of set up a new version of it. So I had to get to the theater to just see what they decided to do with the property.
So what surprised me about this joint coming out is it's so late. Like generational wise, we all the youngest people who actually grew up with this as a kid's cartoon back in the day, at the youngest is what, 42, maybe 43 when this show was actually on TV. Of course they had the remake, but it flopped. Right. And then they had the Netflix joint that a lot of people haven't seen, that we just referenced with where they did the mini series for Grayskull
behind that too. Like, so
and that has some stuff. But even that was what, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, it's pandemic-y.
So you're saying that they basically the Dolph Lundgren version flops. They should have just kind of, if you're going to do it, just redo it again sooner.
It ain't even got to be on the immediate heels of the Dolph Lundgren joint, but they could have did it in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like this is the 2020s. They skipped the teens and most of the 20s because we in 26. Like the first half of the 20s. This joint could have came out in 2010 and been a little more relevant than now. I mean, I'll say it to this point. I saw it the Thursday night before it dropped. I play basketball Friday morning, so I went to go play basketball Friday mornings. I play with a lot of guys that's in their mid-30s. This dude's just 34, 35, 36. And they was like, they know I go to the movies a lot. So it's like, so what you seen lately? I was like, I saw the He-Man joint last night. What is that joint about?
What?
So they only 10 years younger than us. So
I asked my son. I knew he didn't know much about it or care, but I just wanted to just kind of see what was his level of excitement based on the marketing. And he was like, "Yeah, nah." Like, that John's gonna be trash. That was what he said.
Right.
So one, I guess there's them doing a poor job of even setting up the project, but then there's, like you said, a disconnect from even the nostalgia not even being there for a lot of people.
And then if you're gonna aim the nostalgia at the appropriate audience, you got to do stuff that relates to some people that are a little older.
Yeah, but like that's my whole point. Is like, creatively and from a business standpoint, I still struggle with these decisions. If you don't have the budget to do full Lord of the Rings, where it's anytime, then you probably should just say we can't do it. It's just not a project we should do. If you can, then that's the route you should take.
Yeah.
But doing this half-seas, he's on Earth, and then he's like, we're
no
bridging
reason.
these dimensions. It's dumb to me. And the only thing that makes sense is that you do the Earth part to save some budget, because you don't have to put any money into like the environment or the graphics.
I feel you on that. But then you throw Beastman in Earth, so you got a full CGI beast walking around.
Yeah,
like for a solid 7 minutes fighting, throwing cars.
Even that is just him. You don't got to worry about the background,
everybody,
the city, and all
true.
that.
That's true.
Eternia is a pretty weird looking place. You know what I mean? But it's still, I'm thinking like,
you got to build sets. You got to do CGI creatures in the background, all that.
And then, you look at the quality of the Lord of the Rings versus a Dungeons and Dragons. One is like way more campy, funny. So if you go that route, I don't know that connects with the people who really invested.
Yeah,
to me, it's like, really, you got one, I think, path to success. I don't know that that's necessarily a slam dunk financially, but I think it gives you your best shot. Otherwise, my thing is just leave it alone. Don't come back to He-Man. Like, it don't make sense.
Now, He-Man was, and James, I want to let you get in here in a second too. He-Man was super campy. If you go back to the 80s cartoon that we watched as a kid, He-Man was super campy. He-Man had a lot of silly jokes. They made Skeletor a jokester on top of his villainy. So I think they tried to incorporate that specifically into this cartoon. But I think that's where I feel like the disconnect is. Like when I was 6, I laughed at that. 40 years later, I'm not laughing at the same stuff. And I'm your audience. I'm the only audience you have. Yeah. So this, as a 46-year-old man, my humor is darker. The things I view are a little more adult. So I need this to age with me if you aiming at the audience that actually wants to go see this.
Yeah.
24-year-old dudes don't care about this movie.
I do think Thor did a great job of doing the campiness at the perfect level of balancing that with seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Thor doesn't take himself too serious, and
not Love and Thunder.
I didn't like Love and Thunder, but I guess what I'm saying is that just his like tongue in cheek, like humor and stuff, and
that would have been the Ragnarok would have been a great tone. Yeah.
And I think actually those movies got this greenlit, if I'm being honest.
You're probably right.
I think Mattel and Hasbro want to make movies, and so they're trying to figure out what properties they can get out there. I think Thor was just sort of like a blueprint that they thought they could follow, but I don't know. I just getting to the movie, I think it did some things well, it's actually getting good reviews for the most part. So I don't know who that's coming from. I don't know if it's, I'm guessing it's largely people from our generation.
Yeah.
Who are just loving the fact, just being able to reminisce on something they used to love, because it does do a way better job of the accuracy,
right,
in what you're able to see, than the Dolph Lundgren version. So I think that probably satisfied a lot of people. But all in all, it just wasn't my cup of tea. I kind of could tell from the trailer. The storyline and everything doesn't depart too much far from like the major key points of the mythos, but just all the extra stuff, just didn't like. I didn't like Man in Arms. I just didn't like the depiction of a lot of people. Tila was on point, but everybody else was kind of like.
And I had a couple of questions, and most of them was around which characters you liked the depiction and disliked the depiction.
Yeah, I actually didn't even like Adam. Like that just wasn't Adam. Adam was a noble prince to me on the cartoon. He was like kind of like a Boy Scout. When he turned into He-Man, it was almost like he's the same person, but his confidence, he just wasn't like Clark Kent anymore. He was just super stoic, and like he was just laughing at enemies. Like
He-Man was the guy that Adam wanted to be when he grew up. Essentially,
and I felt like they overly tried to make him clumsy and scared when it really didn't fit. It just looked really
because the dude that played Adam looked like a regular adult male that would be like popular or the ladies would find attractive, and then but you try to make him look goofy. Then when he power up, he don't really get no bigger.
That was what it was weird. Like, you covered up his muscles with a shirt, button up, but we can still tell he's the same size.
Like that either. Even when he powered up,
he was supposed to get jacked. You're right.
Transition and become that hero. And in some ways he did. He was stronger and stuff, but he still was kind of like a goof and a bump.
He was goofy. He was silly. And then at the end when they tried the final power up, because I still don't understand how he lost his powers and then got them back again.
Right.
But with the final power up, it was on some, I was holding my punches.
Right.
Like come on, man.
It definitely was a Last Dragon ending. Like the power is within you.
Right. But I was
the universe to me.
I was a little mad about that at first too, because if you remember, He-Man was really OP. Like he was essentially invulnerable.
Yeah.
And I remember he would pick up like half the earth and throw it and stuff in the cartoons. So I was just like, yo, He-Man is not supposed to be getting dog walked by Trapjaw. Trapjaw's supposed to punch him and hurt his fist.
Is it Trapjaw or Lockjaw?
Lockjaw, sorry.
Lockjaw was terrible.
Yeah.
That dude looked like he just came from lunch break smoking a cigarette. He had no muscles or nothing. His arms was all skinny. He just had the arm and the little prosthetic face. He looked so bad.
Yeah. And I just didn't like Idris Elba's depiction either. I think for a couple reasons. One, everybody got to make money, right? I don't know what his salary was. Maybe he got a pretty penny for this. But to me, it seemed a little beneath him for who he is as an actor. But two, it just wasn't a good character. Now, I want y'all to think about, if you haven't seen an interview about why he said he wants to know why people want him to be James Bond. And he just seems so disinterested in that character. He's like asking people, why do you want me to be James Bond? Which I feel like is him trying to get to the point just because I'm black.
Right.
But my thing is, he's starting to like allude to the fact of, well, I'm not pursuing that because it has to make sense to me and it has to be this character depth and all that. Baby, you just played Man at Arms in this terrible He-Man movie.
But I
liked them in the beginning. And I even liked the beginning. It felt more Game of Thrones. Lord
the first scene where he was like, you'll be safe, and he was like handling stuff.
Made him a drunk, and like I was like, boom. So, like, what type of warrior lose a battle and then just like never repeat?
So I'll be honest with you. I didn't think the character was bad. I thought he did a bad acting job in this job. Like, it's just, I was like, what is this? Like, and I'm not as big of an Idris fan as you all are. We know that. But even in watching this, I'm like, what is he doing? Like,
yeah.
this is a dude that plays Stringer Bell. I know you can do better than this. Like, it just.
But why would you
even
stretch yourself to, like, look at who else he's acting with? Like, none of them are power players. So, like, my thing is.
So you think he just packed it in for this job
just
to get the check?
And I'm like, why would you even do that? Like, at this stage of your career, man, just pass on stuff like this.
Do something to challenge.
Maybe he owed. I don't know. Maybe he owed somebody a favor. Or truth be told, he might have loved He-Man like us and just was like, I can't pass on it, man.
Yeah, that's very true. That could be it completely.
Yeah. I think the things that didn't work for me somehow worked for the audience. And like, it's weird. Sometimes I can definitely like our insights are right on site with like the rest of the, viewers out there. But for something like this, maybe you just got to really love that over the top kind of goofy campiness because that's kind of what it seems like people enjoyed. And that's what turned me off, like kind of with Laugh. Like, I don't like, I wanted it to be more grounded, more serious. I don't mind. Like you said, Thor was that perfect tone where it gave you a couple of jokes, but it was grounded, serious. This whole thing was like goofy the whole time.
Like if Orko would have been in the whole movie, it would have made sense.
There were moments where he was in Earth that it was just like, why is this continuing to go on? And for me, I think I would have liked it more if the jokes hit, but they missed a lot. Like it threw a lot of the wall.
95% of them jokes miss.
It didn't make me laugh at all.
Yeah, you cannot do campy if it's not funny. Right, that's the whole point. It has to be funny.
It has to be funny. And I'll disagree with you, Law. I ain't like Tila. I thought the actress that played Tila looked the part, but the other girl, the one that he said stuffed him in the locker, she seemed at the final fight at the end. She seemed like she was what I wanted from. Yeah, she was what I wanted from Tila. I'm like, that's what Tila should be doing.
But I just thought, I guess, because even in the cartoon, they do a good job of making Tila like basically the real soldier.
Yeah,
and she's like, in the cartoon, the Netflix one. They just did a better job adopting the original material. And they make Tila like almost like a super soldier where she just like don't play games and Adam is just so goofy and she's the one kind of like trying to get him to like seriously like get on point with it. Yeah. So I mean, I can get that. I just thought she looked the part well.
She absolutely looked the part.
Captured kind of like, that essence of like that type of person. But I mean, ultimately, man, it just like wasn't really great. I would hope they just kind of leave the property alone. If anything, any rendition would even for me be more animation in the future. Just like the live action thing. Maybe it just ain't a good fit, for this type of property.
Kind of what Dane said and a mix of what you said. It seems like the Hasbro or whoever the powers that be are always looking for these franchises.
That was Love.
Yeah. And this is kind of one of those ones, but I don't know, Dane, to your point, like what their expectations were. Like they seemed like they didn't know who their audience could or should be. I don't even see no like advertising to kids, like, you know what I mean? So like if that's who you were trying to get, like where are the toys? Where's the Happy Meals? Where's the stuff that's going to draw them in? Because this is ultimately a new property to them. So you can bring us in nostalgia wise, but it's still got to be something to make your kids say, hey, Dad, what's that? What's this He-Man thing? Like usually it coincides with like a cartoon or a toy or something that helps,
And listen, for the most part, Transformers did have a very much more serious tone as a cartoon. So when the movies came, they just had to keep that tone, and they did.
Yeah.
And we got like 10 of them at this point.
I think they rebooted it.
Some of these you just got to see if it makes sense. And if the tone is a problem and the budget is a problem for He-Man, leave it alone. Same thing with G.I. Joe. You keep trying to bring G.I. Joe back. If you're not selling toys and it's not for little kids, if it's for us, we're in our 40s. You better make it Call of Duty, bro. Like people better actually die from them laser guns that they're shooting in G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
you gotta put some real stakes and death in there. If it's a war against terrorists, people gotta die, and Cobra Commander can't be a goofball.
Yeah, and I will say, so John won't like completely lose it listening to this joint. The plot had so many plot holes in the joint. It was worse than Dark Knight. but but I'm not going to call out each one of those plot holes. But I know John was watching this. John like, man, why all the bad guys got laser guns, but none of the good guys got laser guns?
Right. Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, man. And rarely, and y'all know me, man. I'm Mr. Positive. Rarely am I in a movie where I'm looking at my watch like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I saw 220, I was
like,
like, ooh.
A lot of time left. And then they gave us 3 after credit stingers.
So what's the 3? Because I only saw 2. I missed the final one, I guess.
Yep.
I saw Orko pop up.
Yep. Which I thought was cool. What I did,
I was wondering, where's Orko the whole movie?
They did include like characters, like they had Beastman and Trapjaw and Man at Arms and Fisto. Like they did that.
But then at the end, they started calling them by those names like it was normal.
Right.
Like,
but just speaking of them names, there was so many sexual innuendos. I was like, why do they keep doing these sexual jokes?
Right.
And then I was like, with Fisto, they was like, fist him or something like that. And then, like he looked at him like, what? I thought he was gonna say pause.
But I did like that.
Did y'all know? I found out that He-Man was adopted and then ultimately She-Ra as well as icons within the LGBTQ community. This was completely new to me. So apparently, back in the 80s, He-Man was viewed as a departure from masculine tropes, largely because he wore a pink shirt. And essentially they said, but they said that part of it was just this notion that he wasn't very masculine, but then he becomes Superman, like super masculine. As to speak to the duality of what back then was people living double lives. Then they spoke about his sword being phallic. And they talked about the fact that
these breakdowns with a lot of, and I get it.
Well, they also said he never had a love interest. And I was like, yeah, because I used to always as a kid be like, why he don't really talk with Tila? Like, why they not a couple? And that always puzzled me. That's not the case in the movie, but this is more of this sort of like conversation that was sort of being had. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, there's just some other stuff that they said just seemed like commentary on, sort of like what it would be to be gay back then. This cartoon was sort of like championing some of those ideologies. And then ultimately they said She-Ra was the same thing, that she was sort of representative of like maybe some of the things that was going on from the lesbian community, and that she just kind of represented this powerful arc. And I would suggest y'all look into it because it was very new to me. I had no idea.
Yeah.
They said that the biggest demographics were boys like us and then gay people, gay men.
Yeah, they do a lot of these. But I mean, like, one, the whole thing came from just toys. You know what I mean? There really was no story until the toys started hitting. Yeah. And then that's pretty much the superhero thing, is that, Spider-Man's an outcast outside of like a few that like were cool before. Batman psychologically broken, but a lot of the people we look up to were weak, nerdy, outcasty individuals. Now, the love interest thing,
and this is the stuff that we be finding out. They'll be like, literally, the reason he wore a pink shirt is because we ran out of the dye. It was cheap.
Exactly.
Like they literally be saying stuff like that. But again, I just had never heard. Regardless, that community apparently like champions them and supports their stuff, and like it was something that they
still pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, everybody needs their heroes, so I'm glad that for whatever reason, I wonder if they are gonna go out and watch this iteration. You know what I mean? And actually support. It's funny, there's a Nightmare on Elm Street thing too that does the same thing. Because it went away from part 1 was like Freddy as we know. And then part 2 was weird, and then Dream Warriors got back. But remember, this guy would like turn into Freddy Krueger, and it would like come out like, so they made it that it was an allegory for homosexuality that he was fighting, and there's this big breakdown. You can make it make sense, but I don't know if that's always the intent. Yeah. But that's the good thing about art and TV and stuff that we watch, is like your own interpretation can be something totally different. It's going to be a lot of that stuff when we talk about it next week with Backrooms too, where everybody has different
theories,
on what it is and what it represents, and the psychological aspects of it. So
well, Dame Shira, they just show you the back of her.
I saw Shira.
Oh, you did see that?
Yeah,
she was one of the.
I saw Shira. I saw Shira, and I saw Orko. I didn't see whatever the other one was.
The third one was I think it was just
Evil Lyn picks up Skeletor.
Yeah, picks up his, and then you just hear him laughing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I missed that. That's the one I didn't see.
He comes back. But yeah, man, for it to be such already a long movie to add 3
like it was a long movie. Yeah,
one thing
didn't need to be that long.
Why was Cringer in that joint at all?
Right.
Battlecat did not need to be.
Well,
in that
he needed to be in there, but like to your point, he's such a critical part. He basically like Adam's best friend,
right?
But how they best friends if you left him in Earth his whole life,
right?
Right. The Cringer, make him grow up. That's it. Just skip time. And just say a lot of time has passed.
Right.
Yeah. It's that the plot holes, bro.
Yeah.
I guess, man, if y'all have to rate it, where do y'all go?
6. Because again, I'm judging it for what it's supposed to be. And I just knew that this was going to be something like that, which I didn't really like, but I actually did not hate it either. So
5.
Yeah, 5.5. So I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm surprised that I'm lower than Love. I think that my expectations were low going in, but we loved He-Man so much as kids that I'm just like, man, y'all got to stop doing this, man.
So if that's John is probably a 3.5 then.
Hey, you never know. Maybe
let me share this. What I realized: some of these movies and why I even liked or even went to see Masters of the Universe was because my inner child wants to see that stuff again.
Yeah.
With AI and these little videos they be making with AI now on Instagram, I'm starting to get a lot of that. You know, when they show the Avengers, if it was made in the 80s, these are the things I thought about as a kid, and I'm getting to see Eddie Murphy as Falcon and all of this stuff.
Right.
They could have did this with AI. And I would have been good. That would have been enough. Like, just show me a little 1-minute montage of what He-Man could look like with current actors, and I would have been satisfied. And I would have saved my money.
Yeah. So 5.5. I mean, I don't know what Jonathan is going to say, but this was
3.5.
This was tough, man. Moving on. And this is kind of, again, a teaser for next week with Backrooms and Widow's Bay. But there's been, I don't know, man, I guess ever since I've paid attention, and you kind of forget because he influenced stuff like Lost and everything else, but there's so many shows that have like a Stephen King influence. And one of them that just came out, which also is produced by the Duffer Brothers, is The Boroughs. And this kind of feels like Stranger Things, Stephen King, and a Cocoon Goonies kind of. Hey, it's the Goonies, but
it felt like Cocoon to me, bro. I was like, that's what it made me think about.
It's definitely Cocoon meets Stranger Things.
And all that takes influence from Stephen King and like Spielberg. This had more of a Spielberg kind of thing than I got from Widow's
That's
Bay,
how I felt. That's how I felt.
What did y'all think? I be forgetting that so many of these actors and actresses that are like character actors are so good. Like, it was kind of fun to see Alfred Molina and like Bill Pullum and all them like in something where they're the main characters. But what did y'all think outside of Doc Ock? Like, that's what I remember Alfred Molina from. But he's pretty competent actor, man.
Yeah, he is.
What's the brother's name
from The Wire?
Alfred Woodard's husband is right.
Yeah, from The Wire.
Clark Peters.
Clark Peters. It's always interesting to see actors like him pop up and stuff like this because you know him. You've seen him in 100 different things. He pops up all the time, and then he hits something where he's semi a lead or he gets a lot of playtime in the joint, and then you remember like this dude can really act. Like he's really a good actor. I wonder why he never got a better role. But I guess some people just live in that character actor, supporting actor space and just build their career off of that. And to your point, this sort of feels like a lot of people who have lived in that space their entire careers, basically getting a show together, and it's a interesting enough plot. I don't think it was anything in the plot that was like completely shocking or earth-shattering, like just going, throw you off. Like I had no idea this was coming. But it was still very entertaining and a very good follow. The first episode was probably the hardest episode for me. Like it was the longest one of the show too.
Like, that's make or break for Dane a lot of times. And the first episodes generally, they usually
be the ones with the hook
because they're trying to set up the universe. But those are the ones that gotta hook Dane, because if you don't get them in the first episode, a lot of times you lose them. And
because there's so much other stuff that I be trying to watch too. And it's like,
and especially with stuff like this, because Dane likes sci-fi and he'll watch horror and stuff for the sake of us. But like,
if I know it's a good story,
right,
I'm cool with it. If you just shock after shock, scare after scare, I'm not interested in scaring myself.
But it's hard.
And if we keeping it a being, some original material, they are promoted with mystery, so you really won't know what it's about. And to me, Boroughs kind of falls in that category.
I agree.
It was strategically like where you're not supposed to know what it's about, really. Yeah. We just gonna give you breadcrumbs that is sort of dealing with something either supernatural or sci-fi-ish.
Love, how did you feel about the CGI in this joint? For the creatures.
So I'll say the prerequisite for it wasn't high, because the majority of it is just like character driven. It's more about what's happening and what are they trying to figure out. So it's like when it's like that, I'm not looking for like the best.
Okay.
But then when you finally do see, sort of like, one of these things, I don't know. It just felt like the common CGI these days.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing special.
Nothing special, nothing super realistic. Just basically, just the common,
I will say that it got a little better towards the end of the show for some reason. Mm-hmm. Like it sort of started off dark and grainy, and I'm trying to mask what the things look like. Yeah. And then once they finally start just showing them outright, revealing them throughout the last 2 episodes, you get better looks at them. And then they sort of cop a plea at the very end when you see the master creature or whatever, because then it looks different than the rest of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's when it kind of became like E.T.-ish, where it was like, it flipped and the monster becomes, the people are the monsters and the monster isn't really the monster and you got to help and save it. That kind of was, what a lot of these, for me as like somebody that likes horror and sci-fi, like some of that's the anticipation, like what is this creature? Like, what's it going to be? How's it work out? What are the rules behind it? So it's always cool to figure that out. That was one of the things that I didn't think was great about this. Like they did a decent job explaining what it was, kind of, where it came from. But ultimately,
once they show you what's happening, you can see what's coming.
Yeah.
What was interesting is that we started this with some movies that this felt similar to, like Cocoon, right?
Right.
It's just funny to me that we would watch mature movies as kids, and because it had sort of a sci-fi or alien part of the storyline, that made it like this movie we were going to watch. Mm-hmm. But that movie wasn't made for kids.
For us, yeah.
Batteries Not Included was probably more for kids, but the I guess just thinking about landlords and tenants getting kicked out, like those were some pretty mature concepts. I don't think kids even think about watching stuff like the Boroughs.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
You know what's funny?
Not
everybody in the Boroughs is like 15 years older than everybody that was in Cocoon. And you can't tell me the Batman in Cocoon wasn't 70.
Right? Yeah, right.
But I think that's just because the landscape of media and stuff, we didn't have many options. So if Cocoon was on Channel 20, you know what I mean? You was watching it and it would come on, where now kids can just pretty much tailor make what is specific for them and they can just watch it. Or as a parent, you can do that. Where for us, it was like, if you was in front of the TV and RoboCop came on,
you watching RoboCop. Yeah. So I seen I'm gonna get you.
And these kids done seen so much. They don't have so much access to stuff. Yeah. Like that. The little one scene in Cocoon just freaked me out when like opened his mouth and the alien was about to come out in his regular form. That's so small and minor, but that freaked me out as a kid.
But you know what? you know what's interesting, Love? I think that changes from genre to genre because sometimes for like this, I'm like, okay, this has a lot more going on than that one scene in Cocoon. Even though the one scene in Cocoon freaked me out, and but there are other things where I'm like, dang, they made all of these vulgar jokes or racist jokes in this comedy back in the day. Like they would never get away with this now. So it's weird how that dynamic is different depending on the genre.
One thing I did like about this, and it's probably just something you don't get to see enough, is like how you spend like your last days and end of life, and like, people to transition into homes. And like, so I thought it was kind of cool to have like the seniors have that adventure. We like, it's almost, like the kids say, man, you cooked by 40. Like, man, you a boomer, you this, you that. But it's a lot of life and a lot of knowledge. So I thought it was a kind of cool perspective, like for Alfred Molina, that's this like, again, he had trauma in his life, and that's kind of what forced him into this and some financial things. But he's literally like a brilliant engineer that's retired that still has all this knowledge and stuff that's kind of, put out the pasture by his family and by society to a certain point.
I'm trying to figure out what surgeries Gina Davis had.
Right.
Because she almost looked exactly like she did in Long Kiss Goodnight still. And she said she's 70 now.
And then she bounced back.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that weird for y'all that she was having a little app with her little young hottie security guard?
But they kept calling reference to, him having an older woman. Then they would go to the scene where she working out with the other older women. I'm like, she don't look like them.
Right.
That's Charlie Baltimore, man.
It is.
Shape.
She is 70 years old, bro.
I think that's a very intriguing concept, though, James. Like, I do think that if you take some of the tropes that we've seen 100 times and just swap out the demographic of the hero,
right,
you really get a different movie. So if you take, Commando or whatever, and just make it with a different demographic, just make it a Asian woman, that's 50. That's a totally different movie. Like
combat stuff. Like I don't know why they don't make those choices just to spice it up a little bit. Because I think that Hollywood gets stale, and I really feel like that's why stuff like the Backrooms and like when you like, we don't get a whole lot of Asian action stars. We don't get a whole lot of this type of genre. We don't get a lot of creativity.
Why don't you put black leads in a sci-fi movie?
Exactly.
Just do it. See how it goes. Like, I think that's a totally different movie than the tropes that y'all keep spinning out with the same old stuff. Just change the core demographic of the protagonist and just see how that movie changes. So put older people going through like their sort of lifestyle changes into a non-traditional role and then make the movie about that.
It's literally what Get Out and Sinners did.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Psychological thriller, vampire movie. We seen it. They put their twist on it, and they had it from a different perspective.
Yes.
And white people, black people, Asian,
everybody,
because it's different. And it's like, it's interesting to see the world through this character.
And you didn't have to lie about what the world was like during Prohibition. Like you just put the different vampire context involved in. I mean, you included in there.
That's some of the stuff that I liked about Yellowstone, that it was like, all right, it's from this perspective, and it's kind of something I've seen, but I haven't seen like the crime thriller from the perspective of like a ranger or like somebody neo-noir Western kind of thing. And it's like, it's cool. And you get to almost learn little things because it's stuff about cowboying that I ain't gonna lie, like people that probably really do it are laughing at me, but I'm watching it, learning stuff like, I ain't even think about like this is what you got to deal with when it comes to cattle and this and that.
You really enjoy Yellowstone that much, bro?
Man, Yellowstone like that.
It's good, man.
Every time I look at a preview, that junk make me feel like it want to call me the N-word when I leave the room.
Nah, man, it's
inclusive.
I do not know why I started watching it. I don't know if it was James just kind of mentioning it over and over and me giving it a try, but once I did, I was like, I was almost like binging it because again, it's very Taylor Sheridan,
right?
Like,
and he does a good job of not just including like the people that you expect to be in it, but like he'll be like, "Hey, here's the Spanish ranchers," or here, like
is he the one that did Bass Reeves?
Like he seems to have an affinity for it.
Is he the one that did Bass Reeves?
Yeah.
I don't. It's part of his universe. I don't know if he did it specifically because some of these properties he don't be doing, but I think so.
That don't just hit. That don't just hit Netflix, so maybe that'll be my gateway drug.
No, it was
nah, man. If you like Lioness, you watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
No, but I'm talking about for the Western ones.
Right. I'm just saying I would just rip the Band-Aid off. Just go for Yellowstone. Like it pays off and everything.
And I ain't gonna lie to Joan, I can't remember, man. 1842, 23, whatever. All them older ones with like Harrison Ford and our girl from Mobland.
Yeah.
Like those are good too. Like the historic like version, like real Western, like they're well acted, well produced, well written. So if you like them, but yeah, getting back to Boroughs, that was kind of one of the things that I liked was that different perspective. And it's funny how they flipped it. As I thought about it, the evil bad guys became people that didn't want to get older. They weren't comfortable with their mortality. So they abused these aliens and these senior citizens to kind of live forever. And hey, Dane, I see you about to make a joke, man. Leave me out of this. But you can see how they didn't want to get older. But the protagonists and the heroes are people that were comfortable with their stage in life and, transition into the next phase. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Lof, you gonna get this joke when you finally finish the last 2 episodes of the show. But James got the father stashed somewhere. I'm convinced.
Oh, man. Oh, man, that was me. My bad. The wrong button. What do y'all think about? Because this technically wasn't the Duffer Brothers, and I'm surprised. I know that's why Dane didn't want something bad is about to happen, but it seems like as producers, I'm not mad at them. Like I like something bad is about to happen, and I like this joint. Like again, it's not earth shattering, groundbreaking, but it's as I binged through it, I enjoyed it. Like I wasn't like, oh, I don't want to watch another episode of this. Like
here's my theory on that. I think people who produce really great projects are immediately probably inundated with scripts and projects that they didn't direct or didn't write.
But they like,
by people that are inspired by the stuff they made.
Right.
So if you love Get Out, you're going to get scripts from people that want to make movies like that. Then you're going to inevitably find one or two that you love yourself and say, yeah, I want to produce this.
Right.
This is amazing. And it fits with stuff that we like as well. So I just always imagine our group, because of how we love movies and shows, if we were to get into making a version of some project that blew up and had success, I could see us getting similar type of movies that have street level stuff and then have all this like pro-blackness and the black angle and lens. And eventually I think we will find something that we fell in love with and want to produce. And it would feel very much close to akin to what we made that made us popular.
So basically you telling me I need to go ahead and ship copies of Path to Manhood to the people that's making a different world right now.
No, we gotta make the men, they gotta grow up to become special operatives after college.
So change gears and go in a different direction.
That one martial artist.
Right. And then it will be the perfect project and we will all see it through.
But that's how I feel, and that's why I appreciate the Duffers seem to be like selecting stuff that's like right, and it kind of helps build their brand too. Like they're doing a good job of selecting these projects and replicating them and using their Netflix deal to kind of get some of this stuff pushed forward.
Yeah.
So I guess, Dane, what would you give the Boroughs overall? And since John ain't here, you can give his rating too. Since
I feel like I'm teetering between a 7.5 and 8. I enjoyed it. I just thought the plot probably could have been a little more complex. It sort of never shocked me.
Yeah.
Like every turn I saw, it was sort of like a telegraph punch. Like, okay, I sort of see where this is about to go. And then it got there. And then I was like, oh, okay, I see where this is about to go. Okay, so where's the thing that lets me know that they could do a season 2? And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it never really completely shocked me. but it was still entertaining. It was still good. It was, you know, they had some really good actors. Every the worst parts of it were not deal breakers,
right?
You know, things like that. So I'm somewhere in the 7.5, 8 range. Like it's a solid B minus, B, somewhere around there type of.
You know what we need to do? We need to start saying when an actor or actress made you love them in their craft.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
Because I often wonder if it's you. I mean, for a lot of them, it's probably the same movie, but I wonder if it's different for certain people. Like,
so who you got in mind right now?
So just, you know, you got to be really good to have longevity, but also to have that impact. So like even Alfre Woodard, I never will forget her being in the Isaiah Thomas story and being his mom. Like she just blew me away in that. Like, what was that, like, made for TV too? Yeah, it wasn't even a movie. Like,
I don't even think I remember that joint, honestly.
Yeah. And then even Gina Davis. It's like, what made y'all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Gina Davis. It gotta be, it's either A League of Their Own or it's probably Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
That's probably the first thing I remember her in for real, where I felt like she was a main character. Well, she wasn't a main character, but she had a bigger part.
Yeah, that's what it was for me. It was Beetlejuice, and then of course.
Oh no! She was the love interest in The Fly. That's what it was.
The Fly,
for Gina Davis.
Yeah.
Yes.
But again, that's one of those that's like, yeah, I noticed her, but it didn't make me like love her.
Want to go see? Yeah.
But I was watching.
So then, League of Their Own
and The Fly. Yeah.
So then, A League of Their Own is probably the one that made me like her as an actress.
That'd be a good remake. That's one that I'm surprised.
Well, that was a remake.
I thought they were remaking The Fly.
Are they?
I thought they were.
It just
it might
seems like right for that with all the genetic modifications and stuff we got going on, and like body horror is kind of back, and there's like a lot of. I even feel like there's some creative liberties you can take to make it different enough.
Alfre Woodard. I'm sorry, Alfre Woodard got to be Crooklyn, right?
Yeah, she was in Crooklyn.
Yeah. Man, that's kind of the stuff that like I wish when we talking about like characters and stuff that we like a Luke Cage.
Yes,
I wish Marvel was better. Like they did a great job with getting Coogler involved with Black Panther, but like the creatives behind it, some of these properties should be better, man.
Yeah. So I just looked it up real quick. They were trying to put into production a joint, and I was thinking I was going to tell y'all I think it was Adam Driver. Okay. Yeah, it's supposed to be Adam Driver. Yeah,
good actor.
He'll play a good Fly. Yeah,
definitely. Like you could see him, and
he ugly enough to turn into the Fly. Is that what you're trying to say?
He kind of gives you that Goldblum kind of like, you know what I mean? Where you can still see the Brindle Fly there. Yeah, Dane, I'm with you as far as it comes to Boroughs. It's around an 8. This is one of those movies that's like I never really felt like the characters were at risk, but sometimes I'm good with that. Like. This felt like a kind of family-friendly Steven Spielberg, like coming of age, kind of like, hey, you know,
some people getting killed hurts more. Yeah. I feel like elderly fall into that category. Like, I don't really need to see. Like, it's cool if you establish kids can die in a particular universe. Like, it went over the top, but. You know, if I feel like that all the old people in the movie like show aren't gonna die, it don't bother me.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt. And it's like I was comfortable with. I mean, they did have a surprise. My guy Bill Pullman.
Yeah, Pullman.
My bad.
Oh, and John will probably be the one to rate this higher than all of us. If I'm
really? Yeah, I wasn't expected that.
This gonna be the one that you're gonna be like, this the Jones you like?
I can't wait, man. We gotta hedge our bets and write these down, man.
Because this is what it's gonna be. He not gonna have no holes to pick with it. It's gonna be like it wasn't no serious plot holes for me to pick through. Yeah. So
and just real quick, because I don't even know if y'all had a chance to watch it or not. But since we talking Boroughs, I know we're next week. When John gets back, or next episode, we're going to discuss Widow's Bay a little bit. Did y'all watch? Either of y'all have a chance to watch the first episode?
Yeah, I got the first episode.
Yeah, I did too.
So, unlike, Spider Noir, where I opted out, Widow's Bay lured me in. I think I'm hooked in, so I'm gonna finish that. So
unlike Love, I looked at the first episode of Widow's Band and was like, am I really gonna watch this? I think I'm gonna give it 3 episodes.
And I think the episodes are creative enough that you might jump into it. But what turned you off? And then I'll say what interested me.
So I can't tell whether they about to jump into straight jump scares and monsters for no reason, or if it's going to be sort of a thriller with some comedic aspects.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm not sure where they're going, but it's starting to feel like the latter, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I think I would actually enjoy a thriller with a little bit of comedy in it in this dark setting that feels like a horror but isn't actually a horror. But if they just like pop out like this really scary monster that does nothing but like challenge your faith and all and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, I'd have seen this, and I really want to sit through this?
And without spoiling anything for you guys or more specifically the audience, I think that y'all won't be disappointed. It's really cool when you can tell that there's good writing and good acting and everything that's involved. Like, they do a really good job of giving you everything you just mentioned. Like, there's moments that are like, this is kind of scary, and then the next minute you like, this is kind of funny. You know what I mean? This is kind of awkward, and it's got these like strange, like small town kind of weird characters that are involved throughout it. But
it's smart funny. It's not. It's not Curb Your Enthusiasm, but it's like smart funny. Like, it's not just goofy, like trying to make you laugh at something scary and somebody trips. It's like the black journalist is like, it's right here on the.
And they making jokes that are alluding. So it's like the jokes that they making, you really got to think about, like, is that what the story is? That's where the story is going,
right?
Or is it just something they calling attention to because it's silly, or like, is it like cannibalism on the island? Like what? Like,
or they build up all this suspense, like something scary gonna happen, and then people be looking at the dude like, "What are you doing? Get up off the floor!" Like stuff like that.
It's not even. It's like an intelligent, realistic response to this situation that can either be funny or scary.
Right.
Yeah. And then I kind of like one. And is it Matthew Rice or Rice? He's a heck of an actor, and I love him from the Americans and stuff. But him, the way he plays this mayor that is kind of goofy, like not necessarily respected, but he's trying to get commerce onto the island, and he's doing everything he can. But he's also looking at some of these townies like, oh, this is local yokel.
Dude, just from the first episode, the way that some of them interact, they are actually, like you said, he's a good actor, but the people that are playing off of him are doing a great job. The guy that's like the town spook almost. Like he's the one that's like trying to sound the alarm, like the fog is going to kill us.
I love him.
And then
he does the voice
for Office Space too.
Dotree
and he's a comedic actor, and you be like, yo, this dude is just gonna be like goofy and silly and stupid, but then he does stuff like, I remember when you used to Ding Dong Dash. But you wouldn't actually do it because you were scared. And that's why I don't respect you, because you were scared. And I'm like, that was serious. I don't know what.
Franklin's dad.
Franklin's dad.
And stuff that's like funny. Like a real like black sheriff in a small town would kind of react like, talk about.
Man, look, we were talking about dude from the Boroughs that was from The Wire. I don't know his name, but I feel like I feel like he's the same way.
Yeah, he is.
There are actors that could get an Academy Award. They just haven't gotten that role. Or
y'all watch clips from it, like what he did in The Leftovers. I was like, man, he's a really good, like, and him and Regina King kind of going off each other as husband and wife, and this, and everybody in the Leftovers were real good actors and actresses, and then you add Damon Lindelof in there, right in their dialogue.
Right.
But I was like, man, you don't realize how talented, and that's why Hollywood is a rough business, man. Like, you can have all the talent in the world, and sometimes you always one hit away. You know,
we used to say that about, like, as athletes, like, going pro, we'd be like, it's a lot of luck involved. It's not
Yeah.
always about ability. And
Yep.
like there are guys in the NBA, I know Patrick Beverly, he famous for talking about you get put in a particular role, that's what you got to do. It ain't that you can't go do something, do more.
Right.
I feel like actors probably be living that out all the time. Like, man, I walk circles around this role.
Yeah.
But y'all ain't pick me. And I ain't get it. You know,
like Sam Jackson could have easily just been an impressive character actor for his whole career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But he had that break where suddenly, you know, through Pulp Fiction, he jettisoned and now he's a leading man. And you see that happen. Mahershala, like for years, there were these actors and actresses that just kind of, you knew could handle business. And then they get that bump. And, you know, you never know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Jackson has become more famous for using MFer than anybody in the history.
Right.
Did we talk about him on The Boys? That was random.
Yeah, that joint was random. It was so random, I wasn't even sure if it was just someone who could voice like him.
That sounded like him,
to give that impression, but yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, I really enjoy it. And it's funny because I think both of these, the Boroughs and Widow's Bay, you see Salem's Lot book in there. So it's like, hey, this little with this dark secret.
So the Widow's Bay has nothing to do with Stephen King. Like,
nope, they're definitely
it's inspiration. And
it gotta be. In the Boroughs, the guy at the bus stop was reading the Stephen King book, and in later episodes, you'll see where there's books, and you see in like the bookshelf, and it's like, oh shoot, there goes Salem's Lot, or maybe it was Needful Things. It's one of those that pop up.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced Stephen King has made some deal with the devil. To be this celebrated, all right, I don't want that to sound like he can't be that much of a genius, obviously.
Yeah.
But to have the success that he has had, and then to just kind of like look at how timeless it has been, for someone who's a fan of his work, it's like not a bad thing. But it's just crazy how much of a monopoly he has on this genre, that he's been that influential to the point where we're still enjoying, I guess, what I would call his children making great projects.
And he's still writing. The weird thing about it, and like I'm sure Dane gets this perspective, like as a creative, it's crazy for me that he just has so much material. Like he's like, there's so many books that he's written and short stories, and like he's constantly, and it's a lot of it doesn't even really overlap. Like, where does he get all these crazy ideas?
I know where he's getting it from. I know where he's getting it from. You know, man, especially you really read some of his stuff, man. You be like, man, you ain't just think of that. You ain't just come up with that.
A lot of it, he'll admit, especially in his early ages, was probably drug induced and alcohol induced. He come up with this crazy stuff. But if you read his in writing, he'll just like, and I think that's why horror and comedy kind of go like within the same lines, because you kind of see Key and Peele, how Jordan Peele was a comedic, and then the same thing with the guy that did Obsession. It's all observation. Like he's like literally
Sam Raimi.
Like I'll be sitting and I'll see a situation and I'll think, oh, this is interesting. This is funny. You know what I mean? And Stephen King does that, and it's like, but he sees a horror thing from it. Like this guy was out in his mailbox, and I saw him put a money into the drain, and it made me think, like, what if it was something down there? Why is it something he'll come up with like 5 stories based on that concept? And comedians do the same thing. They see these daily interactions and just be like, it'd be funny if this happened. Like Curb Your Enthusiasm is 90% of that.
Love, did you see the joint where Tracy Morgan was saying like he's just funny and he gets his humor from his dad? He's like, somebody that's funny can just come in a room and sit down and look at a glass of water and make that glass of water funny.
I actually have seen a lot of comics say that they believe they are a type of human being. They are like a species of human being who that's how they see the world. Like even they talk about, a lot of comics, the best ones be going through so much, but like the way our mind works, everything is a joke.
Right.
Like even death, like we see the funny in it. Yeah. And he's like, and I've seen other people say my father used to do that. He made a joke out of everything.
Yeah. And it's funny how throughout history, there's always that the jester or the comedian, or is there certain just archetypes of people that look at the situation and kind of just see it? You know what I mean? And I think,
Rob is that way. Rob make everything funny. You hear the most traumatic stories he be going through.
Yep.
He will have you crying, laughing at it because how he tell the story.
Yeah. Right. And there's a lot of people like that, man. Fingers like that. Like, you could just see the funny in a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, and like, we need that. Like, we need that for our spirits. And I feel like some people are able, like, there's poets and like romantics and all that, and that's the lens they see the world through. And
it's levels of each thing too.
But it's all in how you interact with the world, and then you process it and then put it out.
I was literally having a conversation with my wife Friday evening, and she was asking, do I feel safe saying and expressing everything to her that I may think or feel or whatever? And I was like, I laugh at life way more than you do. It's like, there's some things that I would laugh at that you would look at me like I'm the most insensitive person in the world. So I was like, I can't tell you that stuff.
Yeah, one thing that made me realize that a lot of times what really works with scary movies and a lot of Stephen King stuff is stuff that really is scary in real life. And they just put it to a story in a theater with the music and the production, and it just heightens it. So everyone's been scared of the neighborhood dog. Right.
Yeah.
Cool. And so that visceral reaction to that is, I could see Stephen King being like, well, what if, right? What if there was a dog with rabies?
Crazy. Yeah.
And then Christine, I don't know where he got that from.
People getting hit by cars. People used to get hit by cars a lot more back in the day.
Yeah. But yeah, like, it actually made me think. I was in San Diego one time when I saw the fog rolling. It was literally terrifying to me. I had never experienced that being on the East Coast and seeing fog that thick. Yes, that quiet. It really, I literally was looking around like, why is nobody panicking? That looks so scary to me. So to take that, put it in movies and shows and stuff, you can see why even people who've had that experience could say, hey, the fog is a scary thing.
Right.
I do wonder sometimes if there's stuff that just hasn't been done enough. Like, I mean, you think about different animals, they keep getting movies, crocs, snakes. Yeah. We got a few lion movies recently. But there got to be some stuff we haven't really, like, that people haven't tapped into enough. I don't know if it's stuff y'all scared of that maybe y'all ain't got a movie to go with it.
Yeah, I can't think. I think they do a good job of marketing all the fears. I just like creative ways to kind of look at it. That's what made Obsession so good to me. It's because it took like a everyday life interaction and made it like a horror twist. Like, everybody's kind of been in love or seen someone in love, and like just what that really means, and that thin line between love and obsession. Or we've seen it before, that thin line between love and hate, where, it kind of can go back. So kind of seeing, and I think that's what makes Stephen King work too, is that his characters, like, he's a good writer. So he actually develops the characters and the backstory and stuff with these, scary psychological properties and stuff around them. But
so I do think Hollywood is going to push for a sequel to these successes.
I know
that we've talked about. I mean, it's like they can't help it. They feel like that's money on the table and they got to make it. And Obsession has really done a good job setting up that he can continue forever.
Right.
So,
and I liked his idea of making it a show, anthology kind of show. And I hope he seems to have a lot of good ideas. So I'm hoping he keeps them in his back pocket and just,
Yeah, I actually would prefer that. I would prefer a streaming network or whatever. Pick that up and do that season after season.
Only if it's Apple.
Yeah. And his idea was he does the first episode and writes and directs it, and then different creators come in with the One Wish Willow and give their interpretation on, what it would.
That would actually be tight.
Yeah.
It would be tight, but it would be episodes that would be disappointing.
But I'm exactly.
Which is part of the fun. That's why I used to like. I would watch Tales from the Crypt or Tales from the Dark
Zone
or Twilight Zone, and some of them were great.
Yeah,
and
some would be disappointing.
Like, wasting my 30 minutes. Man, give me another episode. So, that's kind of some of the gift and the curse. But
what was the show back in the day where they did the outline of the guy? What was that? Hitchcock.
Alfred Hitchcock. I loved that too, man.
I was gonna ask, was that your time? But I should have known better.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it was
It was an
around even
old
before
show.
it was black and
Yeah.
white, black
Well,
and
it,
white.
wa- it was old for us.
Right. We were
reruns.
seeing
It
the
was.
reruns.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't
they
old
did-
for James. Ain't nobody talking about you, James. It wasn't old for
But
you.
they did a new interpretation where they brought it into color and stuff too, and it was like, you know, an anthology Alfred Hitchcock. But I like the black and white. Same with Twilight Zone.
That was Seth
black
Rogen,
and
wasn't it?
white.
When they brought it, they did a new one or something. Didn't
No,
Seth
that
Rogen?
was when you're thinking. I think of Jordan Peele when he did Twilight Zone.
Okay, yeah. Think about that.
Which I like all that stuff, man. So,
Yeah.
but what I'm hoping is that these new creatives kind of do it like Jordan Peele did, where they use their profile to just be creative and do other stuff and not be like, I'm gonna be Backrooms 8. You know what I mean? Or
I hope they do as much as they can to be like Ryan Coogler and just create a level of independence where they not.
I agree.
That they use the leverage to say, like, I want to retain my creative independence. Like I remember,
like that's what they're doing
with Sinners. The studio could not change. He had final approval. Like, and because I know he knew how they go. He knew they was gonna meddle. Said, you know,
because it's my leverage. They're doing the same thing, like throwing all these like deals and stuff his way. You know what I mean? Man, what's the kid that made Obsession? I'm trying to look it up now.
I mean, the dude that did the weapons is like also he's also like, killing right now, getting whatever he wants.
And you know, he's kind of not falling. I think he's got the prequel, but even the guy that did Obsession, like he's got another movie coming out, which I think is a horror comedy.
All about ghosts or everything but ghosts.
Anything but ghosts. Yeah. And then they gave him the not Twilight Zone, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna redo, which he seems to be excited about. Curry Barker. That's his name.
And then guy that did Weapons also has Resident Evil about to come out.
Exactly. So it's like
I bet you it's gonna do great.
Yeah, and it looks good.
If it was any other Resident Evil, like a sequel from the last one, it would flop. But watch how it do well because people are just smarter now. Like we want a smarter movie. So
we do.
Yeah. It's not the brand all the time. It's you know, the consumers know the difference.
I think we're getting right at time, but this piece of news kind of goes in line with what we're discussing with creators, because we forgot about Flanagan. He's another one of those guys. Also Stephen King inspired. Also kind of been able to create his own lane through the horror genre.
The only dude to make me watch horror stuff.
But Clayface, we ain't really discussed that trailer that came out and how it looked. And we were talking about stuff like The Fly and body horror. What do you guys think about the trailer? And I'm really honestly want to hear what Dane thinks, because I always like his opinion, because
it's been so long since I watched that trailer.
Out of the four of us, he's the one that doesn't necessarily like horror as much. Like he will, so he's more of like the typical consumer. Where
I was interested in him and John's take, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, before Joker even came out, and I know James, you were kind of on that same sort of side of the fence. They were more critical of the fact that Joker wasn't really in the universe of Batman.
It was me and James.
Different.
It was me and James. It wasn't John. It was me and James.
Yeah. So with this Clayface trailer, I was curious how you interpreted it, being that it's sort of similar to a Joker, where it's like Elseworlds, I think.
But I think they might have changed it. And I don't know if it's James Gunn circling back, but he said something about, as far as the DCU timeline, that Clayface is the first, like the furthest back that they've gone so far yet. So I think they're going to include him. I don't know if he'll be in Batman, or if he'll be in James Gunn's Batman, or if he's just talking about Creature Commandos, because it's a different iteration. It's hard to keep up with James Gunn's logic with this stuff. But
are we still getting Creature Commandos live action stuff? Live action characters?
Animated, I think we'll get. But
okay. I mean, the trailer for the Clayface joint definitely made me feel like they're going horror with it. But Clayface was probably one of my favorite Batman villains.
Yeah, he's
back,
cool.
Especially the animated series.
Yeah.
Like Clayface was probably my favorite villain on the animated series. So I still had the intrigue from the Batman, like the horror aspect. This is one of those situations where it falls in that realm of my interest, even though it's horror.
Yeah.
So there was it wasn't horror enough that I was like, this trying to turn me off. It wasn't like that. But I also feel like there's going to be some aspects of it that's not horror, even though they leaning into the scary aspects that could come from somebody doing that to themselves, messing up their face and all of that. So I'm going to see it. I'm not going to be the first in line to go see it.
Yeah. And I think it fits into horror with that very loose definition because he becomes somewhat of a monster and then he's probably killing people. So that's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A criminal movie could be the same thing. It just don't have the monster element, right?
Yeah. Right. I don't know how deep they're going to lean into it, but I don't know that it'll actually be scary.
Right.
It'll probably just be him popping out on people and stuff like that and jump scares. I know we're not going to get Batman in it. At this point, the aspect that it's probably going to be a Batman character, but not in a Batman world, is probably for this one I'm probably going to like it better because they're probably not going to associate it directly with Batman like they tried to do with the Joker.
And it's dope because this literally was inspired and resembles that sort of backstory episode on the
new
animated series.
Yeah.
They literally had this episode where it was just about Clayface and how it started. And I do think it's a good idea. I don't know how invested the layman or the casual will be and how attracted they will be to it.
Yeah.
But I think because the Joker has a much bigger profile and Joaquin Phoenix as well. So that'll be interesting to see if this actually leads to the same level of success. In my opinion, this almost has to be a good movie for word of mouth.
Right.
Because the main actor is like not a draw. And then I don't know that Clayface is a draw.
And because of that, it could probably be a better movie, but not as successful of a movie.
Oh, yeah. I would probably put money down that it won't do what Joker did. But I don't know that that's enough reason why you don't do it. Because it really could turn out to be a cool movie. The way that they're going about it, you know what it reminds me of? Remember when the pandemic hit and Invisible Man was a success?
Yeah.
And people were shocked at how good it was.
Yeah.
That's how that wasn't making $1 billion like Joker. But I could see this doing well like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
And I think it is gonna be well written. And I think kind of some of the reasons we talked about where horror is kind of in and with the mystery. And I don't think this is going to be like Loft said, it's going to be horror and it's going to be those moments like you saw in the trailer where his face comes off. You know what I mean? And it's just like, ooh, I think it'll be a little bit of that stuff. And then I think that there's a lot here. And I kind of have faith in Flanagan as a writer. He does a good job. But that dichotomy, especially what we're going through in society with plastic surgery and the temptation to look a certain way and this and that. And this is what that character is going through. And he becomes a monster, but he can also look like whatever he wants to look like at any time. So there's a lot there.
That's where I thought it was going to end. I thought this was going to be a serial killer revenge, right? Y'all did this to me, or I hate the way I look and I can't control my emotions. So I'm killing everybody. And I have this ability to look like anyone. Mm-hmm. That's where I thought the movie's realism and groundedness was going to stop. When in the trailer, you see that he actually is going to have, I think, some ability to morph his hands into weapons and things like that. So I was like, oh, they're going a little further than the hyper realism that I thought they were going to go. Granted, you see him swipe his face down. That to me that's not realistic, but I thought that's what he was going to be able to do.
Right.
I didn't think they was going to do the T-1000 type stuff where he can morph his hands and arms and stuff into like maybe weapons and stuff. So I would love for them to consider having Batman save the day at the end. And we don't know who he is, what he look like.
Yeah, but it's risky.
Because what?
So if they didn't have the association of the Joker going to Wayne Manor and saying that's my little brother and having Thomas Wayne supposedly having an affair with the Joker.
I'm talking about James Gunn's Batman. Introducing him.
So
Matt Reeves' Batman, I don't think it's gonna cross in any way.
No. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying the fact that they associated the Joker with Batman in that way then made me critique the movie The Joker differently, and it's like this had nothing. This ain't even the same world Batman lives in, but you're associating it with that. So if you associate this joint directly to the current Batman, the Pattinson Batman, I'm going to look at it from a different lens than if this is just a one-off character-driven film just about Clayface.
Right. But I'm saying have James Gunn's Batman cameo at the end.
So the Batman that's going to be with Superman that's going to come in soon.
Yes, have him come in. Because I think what James was saying is that
so you want him to come in with
had Clayface introduced to the James Gunn through the animated, so he exists.
Right. So blue and gray tights. Hop in and
yes, maybe. But all I'm saying is we don't even really get. It's almost like, maybe he's in the shadows and he saves the day.
I don't trust James Gunn, man. I don't either. If Batman come in the shadows, he gonna have to flash the blue and gray uniform. But I don't trust him.
Yeah, I guess I make it more akin to like, I'm trying to think how Marvel.
You think of like a Dark Knight?
The way Marvel introduced Black Panther out of nowhere as a cameo. I mean, he was pretty significant to the story.
Yeah,
but he was introduced in a movie that wasn't about him. Only to get his own movie later. Just making the idea that Batman could do that too.
So if this Clayface movie was just completely plugged into that universe, I'm with you all day. But the way that they're selling it is like this is a horror one-off.
Yeah, it do seem like that.
That's loosely associated. That's not directly associated.
Yeah. Hearing James say that they are maybe possibly considering that it's connected made me think of it, but like you're right, if it's not connected, I don't want Batman in it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a quote. Yeah, it was kind of like, how he responds to people on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
So they're like, is Clayface set before or after Superman? He says it's before. It's the first DCU film out of chronological order. So if you put him in so that to me sounds like he's in the timeline. It's just that he's before, you know what I mean? And I don't know how that works for Batman, like what year and stuff this ends up taking place for the James Gunn Batman and everything else, or if they could overlap or when they would in the timeline.
The Pattinson jump was supposed to be year 1, right?
Yeah, but remember, that's separate. That's separate.
Yeah. Oh, right. It's not the Pattinson jump. I'm sorry. I keep doing that. My bad.
Well, Creature Commandos introduced Clayface and then seemingly killed him.
Yeah.
Right. I would actually like him to just explain if this Clayface is that one or whatever.
Right.
Just explain that.
Like, are they the same? And who knows? But I'm sure there's some ways they can tie him in or not tie him in to different same power set or something. But is there anything else? I guess we can wrap here. Yeah, man. This has been another episode of the Real Kings Podcast. Hopefully, next episode, y'all get to hear from Jonathan on some of these same opinions. Please, in the meantime, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, give us some feedback and comments. Please, if you haven't seen Backrooms or Widow's Bay, check those out, because next episode we're probably going to get into those as Disclosure Day comes out too, so we'll probably talk a little bit about Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day.
Nobody trying to watch Disclosure Day. Oh no, Disclosure Day is the day that the one we watching. It's the other one you wanted to watch.
I want to watch The Furious, which
ain't nobody trying to watch The Furious. That's the one.
Different time depending on what we record and everything to sneak and see that in my schedule. But
James just want that unadulterated action.
That joke looks like that. Hey, for those that are street level like your boy James, make sure y'all check out The Furious too, man. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Peace.
Later.